Please welcome two-time Academy Award winner Hans Zimmer.
Thank you very much. So, what are we going to talk about?
Well, let me put it this way. This is not just an unconventional concert film. It's a film of an unconventional concert. So, why did you want to do this?
Oh God, I mean, you know, the funny thing is, I mean, if you think about a film and you're interviewing people that have participated in the film, they usually haven't lived the film. I actually lived that film, if you see what I mean. And why did I want to do this film? I tell you why I wanted to do this film. I actually wanted to do this film not because of me, but I wanted to honor the musicians I was playing with. Because you saw there were a thought ring.
To back it up a little bit, why did you want to do the concert itself? Why did you want to take your film music on the road, as it were?
All right, okay, so it's sort of hinted at in the film. So what happened was, actually this is 10 years ago, 11 years ago actually, we're coming up to 11 years. I was in my studio, I don't know what I was doing, but Johnny Marr and Pharrell Williams came in. And they sat me down on my couch, and they sat a little too close. You know when people sit too close and you can't actually get up? And they started saying this thing, I mean, you know, you can't hide behind a screen forever. You have to go out. You have to get out of your windowless room. You have to look people in the eye. You have to do things in real time. And I'm going, no, I can't do this. I have stage fright. Oh my God, every excuse I could possibly have. This went on for about an hour. And they sort of gave up, and they got up, and they started, and Johnny walked out first, and Pharrell is sort of leaning in the door still, and he's going, you know, I'm doing the Grammys this year. Why don't you come play guitar for me? And suddenly I thought, only an idiot would say no. So I did the Grammys with him, and it was terrifyingly fabulous. And so I thought, well, no, maybe we can do this. And I have a friend in London, Harvey Goldsmith, and if you guys don't know who Harvey Goldsmith is, he promoted Live Aid. He got Bruce Springsteen over into, to play in England. I said to him, David Bowie, and he said, oh yeah, I used to put him up in a club. And I mean, literally, the greatest promoter in the world. And I said to Harvey, well, if I tried doing this, I mean, do you think anybody would come? He said, yeah, I think so. And I said, what would we do, some concert hall or something? He said, no, you're a rock and roller. So we did Hammersmith Apollo, which was where I saw the Stones, where I saw Bowie, where I saw, Humble Pie, where I saw Chick Corea, where I saw everybody. And Harvey's very smart, so he put one night on sale, and that sold out in like no time whatsoever. And so he put a second night on sale. And after the first night, which went really, really well, I thought, well, that must be it. End of stage fright. Well, guess what? Next night, terrifying again. And I suddenly realized that's just how I'm built, Plus I cannot remember, I say whatever comes out of my mouth. So sometimes sometimes it gets a bit dicey, but I make things up, and sometimes I get a bit long, and somebody in the band goes, "Can we go play the next song?" and whatever.
But no film composer had really tried something like this. People are used to going to John Williams concerts where there's 80 players, all orchestral on the stage. Seems like here you reconceived many of your great themes for a more contemporary ensemble. Am I right?
Well, yeah, it Look, it was just part of the people I like working with, and part of the people who are my friends, and you know, and if you think about the music, I mean, Lion King is very different from Wonder Woman, is very different from Gladiator. You know, I mean, cutting it down. I mean, we could have just done a Ridley Scott evening. Do you know what I mean? We could have filmed all these black.
Where's Thelma?
Yeah. I mean,
That'll have to be in the next batch.
well, maybe. Actually, literally, you know, I had to see it because I'm working on the next show, and it was really interesting and very important to see what I shouldn't be repeating, you know, and what we can reinvent, you know.
Why did you choose Dubai as the location where you wanted to film the concert?
Because they let us. I like that thing about the desert, and Denis was around the corner shooting Dune, and I don't know, you know, it just, I mean, they were really supportive of us, and I like this idea that there was, you know, the ancient Bedouin thing, you know, where we did Gladiator. I mean, that was real, and those goats were real. I insisted on the goats. Where are my goats? I gotta have goats. I mean, if we do this, we gotta have goats.
I must admit the goat did take me aback a bit.
And at the same time, you had this incredible modern city which was perfect for the Dark Knight. I don't know. It just. Look, I have no idea how to make a movie, and I've worked on many movies. I've never. Paul Dugdale, who directed this, is an absolute. Not only. It wasn't that easy for him because he was working with somebody who'd done a lot of movies. So I would come up with stupid ideas, and Paul had a fabulous way of talking me out of it and putting me back in the right direction. And he genuinely loved the music, and he genuinely loved this band.
Who is he? Is he American? Is
No,
he British?
he's English, British.
How did you find him?
He's done it. I should know this now, right? He's done hundreds of music videos, etc. You know, he knows what he's doing.
Yeah, clearly. And I often wondered how many cameras he had when he was shooting the concert. Because he's cutting all the time.
I want to say, and I bet you'll get this wrong, but I want to say 29, but I might have gotten this wrong, but not much. and that last shot, you know, and a really fantastic drone pilot. I mean, that opening shot. I mean,
you've got to talk about that opening shot with that's Loire in the middle of the desert.
Loire. Yeah, and it could only be one take because of footprints. See what I mean?
I kept thinking Lawrence of Arabia.
So everybody had to get everything right, you know. And that end shot of me on top of that tower, actually, that was quite complicated because it was really windy, and so the drone kept drifting. So we had to have a few goes at it.
And then, so while we're on the subject of location shots, the Gladiator sequence was done
in the desert, and it was freezing cold.
Yeah, you're all bundled up. It sounded like it feels like it was cold.
It was. Yeah, look. During the day, it's unbelievably hot, and at night, it's unbelievably cold. You know, and we were freezing, and it took a while to do that.
What about the interstellar sequence? What is that huge circular thing?
Well, they have this dome, and then we had this English company, the same company that. Did you see the Queen's Jubilee or any of that stuff on television? I mean, it was amazing what they had done to Buckingham Palace, and we actually got to play it. We got to play in front. We got to make a lot of noise in front of Buckingham Palace, which was really. There's a whole other story there, but they had done the projection mapping, and so, you know, we just loved what they did, and Paul knew them and said, okay, just knock yourselves out. And he came up with that idea of doing Interstellar in that dome. And I don't know if you saw at one point, he literally has the shot inverted, so we're floating.
Yes.
You know. A lot of great ideas just from Paul.
And the other thing that's so impressive is the sound mix on this is really kind of extraordinary, right?
Well, it's Colin Pink, who's our live sound engineer, who is fantastic, and the redoubtable, unbelievable, brilliant Steve Lipson. You know, anything from. I mean, he produced all those great Annie Lennox album. He recorded all the Frankie Goes to Hollywood stuff and all that stuff, and Slave to the Rhythm for Grace Jones.
What's wonderful about it is that when the musicians are playing a particularly quiet moment, like when you're on keyboards during Man of Steel, you don't hear a peep out of the audience. And I kept thinking, God, how
The
did they
audience
do that?
was like that. I mean, no, it's the end. Actually, the end is real. It's really me playing in front of the audience still, even though I have been transported onto this building. I always know if the show works when I get to the end and I play time and it's just me and the piano and I try to play as quietly as possible and you don't hear a peep out of the audience. I know I've actually touched them. I know I've done well. I know we've done well. The band has done well. I know we got them.
How did you decide what the lineup of music should be? Seems like you've done over 100 films now, and yet this felt like Hans's greatest hits.
Well, it's sort of, it's relatively democratic. It's the band, like we did Coachella, and I'm going, well, we're not going to do Lion King, we're not going to do a kids movie, right? And Niall Marr, Johnny Marr's son, who was 21 at the time, goes, Hans, get over yourself. It's the music of my childhood. We're doing Lion King. So we're doing Lion King.
And he was right.
I'm looking out, and there are 80,000 grown-ups crying. So a lot of the choices are made by my musician friends, because quite honestly, I find fault with everything I've written. And I find when they start playing, bless you, brother. Oh, that was quite a sneeze.
And it would have been cut out of the movie.
Or not. So when they start playing, I mean, the musicianship I am surrounded by, and it's very international. I mean, it's international and it's sort of provocative. Like Lebo I met as he was a political refugee from South Africa. The orchestra, literally, that is the story. They are Ukrainian and we managed to just get them out. The war had started and it was really difficult for them. And then we couldn't get them back into Ukraine. So they're now living in Germany because you always think Germany, is a land of bureaucracy and horribleness, but we said we need some help here, and within moments, without any crazy paperwork or anything like this, they just offered us this sort of holiday mountain village in the Alps, and so it really helped us out. So helped these people out, and showed real humanity and real empathy. To an impossible situation. We have people from, we truly have people from all over the world. I mean, their stories are fantastic.
Talk a little bit more about the band. I was fascinated by the fact that all the drummers seemed to be women. And I thought, this is more than just an aesthetic choice, I'm sure.
No, this is because Aisha and Holly and Alexandra. Alexandra plays timpani and the concert, the classical percussion. She's from Slovenia, but learned in Vienna, and she's really, truly is a world-class percussionist and composer in her own right. The two girls playing drums, Holly and Aisha, London girls, they whack things hard. They have a great attitude, and I love them. And
I was exhausted just watching them play.
no, well, they actually, when we do rehearsal, they actually start 2 weeks earlier. Just to sort of get in sync and just come up with ideas. I mean, there's a great spirit of, because I give them a lot of freedom because I want to give them a lot of freedom. So there's a lot of inventing going on. There's a lot of democracy in that music, which I absolutely adore. And then of course I have Guthrie Govan, the world's probably greatest guitarist.
Yeah, there's great guitar stuff in this.
Yeah.
You need to talk about Tina Guo for a second. Between that, it's an electric cello.
Yeah.
Between her electric cello, her whipping the head back with the hair, her makeup, her choice of outfit, let's face it, you can't take your eyes off her.
Well, Tina and I are basically rock and roll.
That didn't sound sexist.
No. Basically, no, like, I think most of the band is really, in one way or the other, rock and rollers. So, the other thing you might have noticed, we didn't show a single frame of movie.
I'm glad you brought that up. This is, again, something unique about this particular concert. You don't show any film clips.
No, because I wanted to give, first of all, this is not against normal film music concerts, but I had been invited, oh shit, I'm gonna get into trouble.
Go ahead.
I had gone and seen Gladiator with an orchestra, and I was really excited about it. And the first, 5 minutes are really exciting, and it's really great. And then I'm totally involved in the story, and I'm not really hearing that it's an orchestra and soloists. And then I'm going, hang on, it's not sounding as good as, when I did it, because I have 1,000 toys and I produce and and I got compressors and EQs and other toys that I throw into the orchestra, So no, you can't do that live. So, but at the same time, what I wanted to do is I wanted to have my favorite players, my favorite band, and I wanted to give them autonomy. I wanted, because usually when you see a classical a film music concert, you have an orchestra and you have a conductor, and unless it's John Williams or somebody as good as that, you basically have a man standing with his back to you for the whole evening, and you have a bunch of guys reading the paper, which is like sort of, like a 25 years into a marriage on a Sunday or something like that. And then you have the movie, and if the movie's any good, you're going to be, you're going to follow the story. But the other thing is, you don't really connect with the musicians the way you want to connect, or the way I feel you should connect. So I wanted to have sideline. I wanted the musicians to have a true connection with the audience, and I wanted the music to be that connects them. No more, no less.
And if the music is strong enough, as it is here, it'll keep your attention.
Well, I think we did okay. No, I mean, the stage fright never went away, the doubt never went away.
Really? How many times did you do this show?
We're at 200 and something.
And the stage fright still hasn't gone away?
No.
Yet you continue to go out there.
Yeah, because you
What was it that Johnny Marr said? You're more of a road dog now than I am.
Yeah, well, that's actually not true, because Johnny's on the road all the fucking time. So, no, it's yeah, when I was 57, I decided I was going to become a, I know, right. But it's just a different way. It's just a different way of looking at film or looking at music. I mean, look, all the things that people said to me that I shouldn't be doing, keep the pieces short. You know, the audiences, the attention span of the youth or the audience, whatever, you know, is tiny. Bullshit. You know, people are people. And if you entertain them, and if you find a way of getting through and doing something interesting and doing something emotional, people will stay with you, will pay attention, you know? So I just have a problem with this idea that you're supposed to dumb everything down, you know?
Can you talk a little bit about the structure of the film? Again, one of the unique things about this is that we take a pause every so often from the concert and have you in conversation with your fellow filmmakers and musicians, and it's a really sort of delightful. Plus, it's in black and white, which is interesting.
Well, no, that was my idea. I stole that basically, and it's a different format. I stole that from The Right Stuff, which is one of my favorite movies. And it was Paul's idea to do the interviews, because he wanted to just dig a little deeper about, you know, why and how and what for, you know, and to bring the friends in that I had worked with, and the other thing is we didn't have an intermission. Well, because normally we have the concert's 3 hours long and we have a 20-minute intermission. We didn't have an intermission, so this was a way of just staying with the subject, but at the same time giving you a little bit of a break from, you know, the subwoofer, you know, taking your head off.
I particularly love the Billie Eilish and Phineas segment, where they talk about the fact that your collaboration on the Bond film was sort of key for them to sort of then move forward and do other projects, other collaborative projects.
Well, they were
including Barbie.
They were, yeah. I mean, they were very young, and actually, it was Leah Bullock who said to me, you know, you're going to find a pile of tapes. Everybody will have submitted something for Bond, but there's this little song, you know, and
oh, did Leah sort of point you in that direction?
Yeah, she pointed me in that direction, and I listened to the pile of things, and then I had forgotten the conversation, and then I heard the Billy song, you know, and I went, oh, this is beautiful, and it's different because everybody expects this huge song for Bond, right? So I went to Barbara Broccoli got it straight away, but you know. Everybody else was a little doubtful, and then somebody said, but hang on, it has nothing to do with the movie. And I'm going, yes, it has nothing to do with the movie because they haven't seen the movie. And Barbara went, buff, and the next day they were in the cutting room. You know, they had flown over from LA, and they were in the cutting room. And we just...
But the great thing was...
We didn't start working together, we started playing together. We became friends, we became, you know, it became... I don't know, it became what it's supposed to be, you know, collaborative.
And what was great about them was that they were crediting you with putting them at ease in this brand new situation they'd never found themselves in. And I think that that's probably true with many of the collaborators you've had, because you just are interested in making music, making great art.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we can. See, I never thought I would do a Bond movie. Because Barbara Broccoli and I have been friends for years, but it never. But it had occurred to me that doing a Bond movie, if I get it wrong, could ruin the friendship, and it was more important to me to have the friendship than to do the movie. So when she asked me, I had to actually have a bit of a think about it, and then of course, you know, I had fabulous help as well, you know, again from the band and from Steve Mazzaro, who is one of my favorite human beings in the world, and being in London and just remembering it's only a movie, except the thing was we were killing Bond off, so there was some responsibility there, you know.
Yes.
It was slightly different than a normal Bond film.
To go back to the movie, though, I wanted to ask you about some of your, again, collaborators. Was it tough to get people like Le Bohème, and Lisa Gerrard, and Loire Cotler, who are so important to these scores. Dune, Lion King, Gladiator. Was it tough to get them to come on?
No, it wasn't.
With you?
No, it wasn't. It was like, hey, do you want to come and do this? You know, and it's not until quite a way into it that I realized what we were doing was I was giving the audience the real people. I was giving you Lebo, the real Lion King. I was doing Lisa Gerrard from Gladiator for real, you know, and Loire from Dune. So that was sort of important that it wasn't fake. It was real.
Did they do most of the tour?
They did all of the tour.
They did the whole tour.
Oh yeah. They're signed up for the next one.
Speaking of Loire, you know, the key voice of Dune, every time she sings, it seems like she's ruining her voice for you.
It's just on the edge. It really is just on the edge. There are a couple of things. There's one thing you don't see in the film because we did it differently. In Interstellar, we have an aerialist, and she floats above the audience. And then there's some days where I'm going, don't do it. I have a bad feeling. I think you're going to splat down. And we have, you know, we have this sort of rehearsal, what happens when she falls, which is really not very nice. So
Why did that not make the film then?
well, because we were doing this other thing with Interstellar, you know, with the protection.
Yeah.
But people are prepared to really. They take performing very seriously. You know, they take giving something to the audience, really, you know, incredibly seriously. So they give their all. You know, and every night they give their all. I mean, I can't think of a show where we came off stage and somebody said, I wasn't really doing it tonight, you know? It's exhausting, by the way, you know, because it's 3 hours, which doesn't sound like a long work day, does it? But it's 3 hours in front of 20,000 people, and you're speaking to them, and you're getting all this stuff back from them, and you're giving them everything, and by the end of it, I don't know how it works. All I know is, you know, I'm wrecked.
But you're a road dog. What about the
I've got to
crowd?
have a word with Johnny.
What about the crowds? Were they different in any sense as you went to different places, different countries?
No, absolutely. I mean, there are cultures which are much more polite and quiet and treat this more like a classical concert. And then my ambition, of course, is to go and see how quickly I can go and change that and make them into a rowdy crowd. You know.
And you went out into the crowd for at least one number in this.
No. I mean, in fact, this one's the way it's shot. It's quite sedate. I usually go all the way through, you know, and it's fun. You know, it's fun to really feel to really follow through with what Pharrell and Johnny said. You know, you have to look people in the eye. Well, if you're up on the stage, it's hard to. Right now, I can't see any of you because those lights are like a killer, right? And one of the things I do with our lighting designer is, you know, as soon as a number is over, I light the audience because I want to see you, I want to speak to you, I want to have eye contact, and then I do go into the audience because I want to have real. What's the point doing it if we're not together in this?
Yeah, I'm sure they love it. I'm glad you
so,
mentioned.
so you didn't think it was all that bad?
I'm also glad you mentioned the lighting, because the lighting design in this is extraordinary.
John Featherston. So here's how family things work. So Johnny Marr gets me to go and do these shows, and because Johnny's got his own career, it's his son Niall playing guitar, and John Featherston is his godfather. So you know, it's really family stuff. I mean, the lights are pretty vital to this. You know.
So you're saying that you're going to go back out on the road, and when will this begin, and how different will the shows be?
The show, well, I think the show will be very different. Right now, the show is
Is in your head.
no, it's a bit more than that. It's a bit more than that. There's a lot of it is there. Will it be possible? Is another question, right?
So we have new ambition then.
Yeah, I mean, look, rehearsals start mid-September, and I keep forgetting. We're in Europe first, but I think it's 2nd of November is our first show, but I couldn't get that wrong. Hang on, what? Say.
Wait,
No, it's not Anaheim. That's, you know, okay, hang on. We need to address this. We really need to address this. There are so many Hans Zimmer greatest hits, shows going on that
is that the world of Hans Zimmer?
I have this other thing, which is the world
Is that
of
the
Hans
thing
Zimmer.
Matt Dunkley is conducting?
Yes.
Okay.
So
That's the other Hans Zimmer.
That's the
show.
other Hans Zimmer, but it's not really. Well, that's the more orchestral thing. Well, I'm more in the rock and roll thing. So you are right about that, but at the same time, I start in Europe November 2nd. It's November 2nd. Have I got that right? Somebody knows.
So is that going to...
Hang on, wait a second. Annabelle Zimmer. Have I got that right?
October 12th. You got it wrong. October 12th.
All right.
She
If
must
I'm
know.
not there, you know why.
So now you have even less time to prepare. So
Thank you, John. I shall remember this comment, this moment, and this comment forever.
So are you going to be on the road then through the end of the year and then early next year?
And then early next year, yeah.
And
And then I need to go and focus on Denis and Dune, you know.
Ooh. When do you start on Dune 3?
Actually, I've done the opening. It was very funny. I was in. It was the weirdest thing. I was in Abu Dhabi. We were doing a show, and Denis was 5 minutes away from me in another hotel, but we couldn't meet because everybody is afraid of COVID, right? I mean, if we get COVID, our show is over, and if I give COVID to the Dune crew, that's over. So we're on the telephone making up what the opening of the movie should be, and did it.
Yes, great. But one other question about your film scoring career versus your on-the-road career. How do you balance that? You must have filmmakers who are dying to get you, and maybe who you really want to work with, but you've got all these dates lined up, and I'm wondering if you're losing some of your desired film scoring assignments.
Yeah, I'm sure I am. I'm sure I am. But it's a different part of my life right now. You know, we're doing something different right now. And really, honestly, I think. Look, I'll get into trouble. Whatever happens. I feel we are in a moment in film where we need to go and reinvent. We need to reinvent film. I mean, there's less and less daring film
Risk-taking.
going on. And so bring me some daring filmmaking and I'll be there, you know?
What else can we expect from you besides the show?
Oh, what else? You know,
Besides Dune 3,
sleeping.
is
going
there
to
anything
sleep.
else coming up for you?
No, I can't think of anything else. Yeah, I and a couple of friends bought a BBC studio in London, a huge place, you know, 9 studios the size of Abbey Road, to support the orchestras, to keep that thing going, to not let it... It's probably one of the worst and most stupid ideas I've ever had, but I'm doing it.
Yes, they say that investing in a scoring stage is always money thrown away.
That's on a good day, yes. No, absolutely. No, well, artists, you know, for instance, it'll be different. For instance, I have an artist in residence. I have Johnny Marr as the artist in residence. We actually bought an apartment just next door. So we're starting to do something which is going to be different. Because right now I just feel, let's shake it up, you know? I mean, we always shake it up, but right now I have the opportunity to really shake it up.
One last question. Will you bring your show, your rock and roll show, to America soon?
Absolutely, yeah.
How soon?
I don't know how soon. And look, let's be honest. I rushed from the studio where I'm trying to get a new version of Dark Knight arranged, you know, where I'm working without any sleep. Here, come to see the movie, talk to you, rushing back to the studio, do the European tour, figure out, you know, when we go to America. You know, it'll either be Asia next or it'll be America next.
On that note, please help me thank Hans Zimmer.
Yeah, thank you, all of you, thank you. And John, thank you. Thank you for that. It's been an absolute pleasure being with you here. Thank you so much for coming. Have a great night.